I was listening to a podcast the other day with an IVF kind of doctor specialist in America, but then they go on to say kind of namby-pamby stuff that just gets me. And the doctor in question was citing a paper, how the more antioxidants you eat, the less your chance of having infertility. So I pulled the paper. Anyway, there's the paper there on the screen. I had a read of it. And I should be happy that in a journal called Medicine, they're promoting a paper about antioxidants from food and how they are good for fertility. I should be happy about that. But for some reason I come away thinking, why do they keep missing the point? They were talking about vitamin A and C and E and I think zinc and a couple of other nutrients, selenium. Now, yeah, they're kind of called antioxidant nutrients, antioxidant micronutrients. Yeah, so those vitamins and minerals are called antioxidants. But the impression people give when they talk about them is that they're going to go in and they're going to put out all the free radicals in your body, and that's why they're good for you. And I just think they need to go one step further to understand that that's really not even scratching the surface. So a quick overview on what I'm talking about. We have free radicals. You've heard the term free radicals. They're made in our body by normal metabolism. If your metabolism isn't really working efficiently, you make more free radicals. The free radicals can do damage to your cells and to your tissues. We liken them to kind of sparks of fire inside the body. They can do damage to your cells and tissues. But we've got an antioxidant defense system inside our body. We produce these really powerful enzymes to quench those free radicals, and the job is done. The problem happens if the quantity of free radicals is greater than the ability of the antioxidant defense system to quench. Then you've got what we call oxidative stress. But this is a big deal because oxidative stress, A, it damages cells on its own, but B, it goes on to cause chronic inflammation, and that's got a huge knock-on effect on all of your fertility systems. If you've read my book, you'll realize that the core message I give is that chronic inflammation, which is long-term kind of background levels of inflammation, is what ultimately upsets the fertility system, and it's behind all the major fertility kind of conditions today. So that's chronic inflammation. But oxidative stress is connected to chronic inflammation. So what the paper is telling you is, hey, we found a way to put out the free radicals. You just take antioxidant minerals and nutrients like vitamin A and C and so on. But that's not going to cut the mustard. What they're missing is that the reason you have too many free radicals in the first place, now note I said the phrase too many, because having free radicals is normal. It's having too many is a problem. The reason we have too many free radicals is mostly because our energy system, our mitochondria that produce the energy for our body, that's kind of misfiring, or it's producing energy in an erratic or an unstable way. So the core issue isn't free radicals. The free radicals are a symptom of the core issue. And if you take antioxidants to try and put out the free radicals, to quench the free radicals, it'll do almost nothing because the volume being produced by an inefficient mitochondrial energy system, that's where the core issue is. What I'm describing is actually the core issue for most cases of infertility. It's an inefficient energy production system. I liken it to a factory, like the mitochondria is the factory. It's producing energy, but the side effect is that it produces smoke that comes out the chimney. So the smoke that comes out the chimney is the free radicals. And that's fine if you have like scrubbers in your chimney stack or something and you can clean the smoke. But once the smoke level is too much for the scrubbers and for the antioxidant defense system, then you pollute the area. That's the kind of analogy. Taking these antioxidants in your diet is a good thing, but it's not going to solve the problem, because the problem is inefficient energy production. How do you solve the inefficient energy production? Well, the answer to that is if you solve that, you solve most cases of infertility. That's the kind of work I do with my clients. It's complicated. One of the things you need to solve it is a complete base of optimal nutrition, not just the 3 or 4 nutrients that they talk about in the paper. You need a complete base of it because you need to turn on all aspects of the energy production system in your mitochondria, and that's a very complicated system. That actually may be the most complicated system in the body. So you need all the nutrients to drive that system, but you also need to take out the problems within the body, food intolerances, stress, toxins, heavy metals, all that other stuff. That jams up the energy production system. That's where the real issue is. So great, the paper said, eat antioxidants. Great, I'm happy with that. But if you listen to these interviews, you're left with the idea that, well, that solves the problem, but it doesn't. Like there's even this idea that polycystic ovarian syndrome can be solved by taking antioxidants. There's actually papers out there on that. It's just not true. They're one part of a much bigger system. And what I'm trying to point out here is, you'll see reports about these papers. Some of them will say it's the answer It's part of the answer, but it's just annoying the way it's presented. That's all I'm really saying today. I'll be making more videos on the energy system so you know what I'm talking about, but for now I'm just talking about the paper. Okay, I'll talk to you later.